Hi folks, Max from HighOnAndroid.com, where we get on Android every day. Anyway, today let's talk about unrooting Android. What does unrooting Android mean? You guys probably wonder what it actually means. Now, for me, there's actually a couple different ways of unrooting. The first is the simplest, is just unroot. Removes roots, removes super SU, super user, and also SU binaries. Removing roots actually involves just two things: the SU binaries and also the super user APK. If you remove those, it removes root from your phone. For example, I've got the Droid Razor here. Let's say you've rooted your phone and the only thing you did is give it root. And if you do the one-click unroot using super SU, it'll be completely unrooted back to stock. Now, there are other cases. Let's say you've installed a custom ROM on this using SafeStrap recovery. Just removing root won't completely unroot it. You'll have to also uninstall SafeStrap before unrooting, then you'll be completely unrooted. Now, there are cases with phones like the Note 2 or the S3 I've got here. These phones, usually when you root your phone, you probably install a custom recovery like Twerp or Clockwork My Recovery, which allows you to do, stuff like back up your ROM, restore your ROM, or even install custom ROMs. And sometimes you might even be on a custom ROM and maybe you didn't make a backup of your stock ROM. What do you do then? You can still use the one-click unroot method to unroot your Note 2 or the S3. Now, that will still leave the custom recovery, Twerp or Clockwork My Recovery, on your phone, so it's not completely unrooted. You can simply reinstall the stock recovery using Odin and the stock recovery. I have instructions on my site for the Galaxy Note 2 at galaxynote2root.com and also Galaxy S3, Galaxy S3root.com. That's for the newer Samsung devices. Now, if you're talking about the older devices like Galaxy S2 here, this one doesn't have a separate recovery, so if you want to get stock, you'll have to reinstall the stock kernel. Now, let's talk about an instance where you do have a custom ROM installed with a custom recovery. Then how do you unroot it completely back to stock? What you want to do is basically use Odin and its stock firmware and flash it. Now, also with the Samsung devices, there's this thing called binary counter. What are binary counters? They're basically binary counters whenever you flash a non-stock firmware or stock custom recovery, it will increase the binary count. So if you have a custom recovery, your binary count probably went up. A simple way to solve this, Chainfire, XDA users Chainfire has made this easy tool called Triangle Away app. Simply download it from XDA for free, or you can get it. You can buy it on the market. I bought it so I can use it all the time. And simply run that before you unroot, and Samsung will never be able to tell you rooted your phone, and you can completely unvoid the warranty and get your warranty back. The beauty of Samsung devices. So basically, for the Samsung devices, you just need Odin stock firmware. You can download on my sites, or you can go to samfirmware.com and use that, and you can get it completely back to stock. All right, let's talk about HTC next. I've got One X here in Evo 4 GLT. How do you unroot the HTC One X or the Evo 4 GLT or any of the HTC One X devices? You can still use the one-click method if you somehow rooted your phone and gave it root, but most likely you probably went through hccdev.com, unlocked your bootloader, and then install a custom recovery and then root it your phone. That's how the process works for most HTC phones. So how do you unroot it? So basically, if you want to return it for a warranty, you'll have to run this thing called RUU. Now, with the HTC devices, RUUs are very hard to find. Let me just take an example. This is a headache device because HTC provides a different RUU for every different country, China, Japan, Korea, whatever, right? So you have to find the correct country for your device, otherwise it will not work out of the box. There's a way to hack it so you can install any country firmware, but sometimes it's hard to find your country's firmware, so it's just a lost cause. It's just hard to unroot. once you root, I don't actually recommend unrooting on the newer ACC devices. Another reason why I'm staying away from ACC, they make it lockdown. And also another point to point out is with the Samsung devices, you can flash an older firmware. Let's say you want to go back to Gingerbread or ICS, you can just use Odin and flash it and it'll work. With the newer ACC devices, it has a bootloader that actually checks if the RUU you're installing is actually the same as the one you have or older, and if it's older, it will not install. So that means once you upgrade to Jelly Bean, you'll never be able to go back to ICS or Gingerbread. Same thing with Motorola. Motorola uses this thing called RSD Lite, kind of like Odin tool, kind of like Fastboot for Nexus devices, and also uses this thing called SBF files. These are basically stock firmware files for Motorola devices. Basically, you need to download the SBF for certain Motorola device you have, and you use RSD Lite and flash the SBF, just like using Odin with Samsung. Now the problem with that is it actually uses Fastboot. You have to put it into Fastboot mode. The thing with Motorola devices, if you run out of battery while using while flashing SBF, it will not recharge. It will not recharge. You have to have a working firmware. If something goes wrong, you're screwed, and you have to make this thing called Motorola factory cable, which I also have a video tutorial of. I'll have it in the description or on my site. You can check it out. Then it just becomes complete brick, kind of. It really sucks. But with the RSD Lite, you can get it back completely back to stock. So you can just, also with the Motorola, you have to use the correct version of SBF. If you use the older version, it will not work, and you will end up in that brick state, which you don't like. And lastly, let's talk about Nexus devices. The Nexus 4 or the Nexus S or the Galaxy Nexus. Any of the Nexus devices are very easy to unroot back, completely back to stock. You can use Nexus firmware, original firmware that Google provides. For example, for the Nexus 4, you can download the original firmware, simply run some Fastboot commands, and it will get it completely back to stock. And also you can relock the bootloader, which will erase everything on your phone, make it completely back to stock. And also when you send it back for warranty, Google or LG will not know that you've actually rooted your phone. Anyway, I wanted to just kind of give you a overall wrap up, and for those of you who like to get serious about stuff, I hope you learned a little bit. And if you have any questions about any certain devices, and if I forgot to put the links or something, don't forget to leave in the comment section and I'll add it. And as always, don't forget to hit that like button here, subscribe button down there. And if you like this, don't forget to share this with your friends on Twitter, Facebook, or Google+, people who are high on Android. And I'll see you guys soon. Stay high on Android. Yeah.